Dragon Woman thought she was the only inhabitant of the lost planet until she met a human. The planet cataloged as KX-119 did not appear on any modern navigation charts. Its orbit was unstable, its star a dim orange dwarf barely strong enough to keep an atmosphere from freezing solid. Long ago, some survey probe had marked it unremarkable and moved on, yet life endured there. She moved across the basalt plains on four powerful limbs, wings folded tight against persistent winds. The settlers who engineered her species had once called them draconids, a careless nickname born from ancient mythology. In truth, there was nothing mystical about her anatomy. Hollow carbon lattice bones reduced weight while preserving strength. Membranous wings doubled as thermal regulators. Scales were layer heat exchangers, absorbing solar radiation during daylight and releasing it slowly through the freezing night. Her name, translated imperfectly into human phonetics, would have sounded like Seraph. For 212 planetary cycles, Seraph believed she was alone. The ruins supported that belief. Metallic skeletons of habitats lay half buried in iron dust. Fusion towers stood silent. Radiation signatures had faded to background levels centuries ago. Whatever civilization had engineered her kind had vanished long before her hatching. She survived through instinct and inherited memory, genetic instructions encoded by designers who never returned. Hunt the glider beasts in the upper thermals. Drink from geothermal vents. Avoid the equatorial storms. And wait. She did not know what she waited for, only that her neural architecture insisted something unfinished remained. The object appeared during twilight, a streak of controlled fire descending through the atmosphere. Not a meteor, too slow, too deliberate. Seraph watched from a ridge as retrothrusters carved glowing scars into the sky. The craft landed upright, scattering dust for kilometers. Her first reaction was not curiosity, but recognition. Something deep in her cognition aligned patterns, symmetry, manufactured alloys, purposeful motion. Creators. She approached cautiously. The vessel was small, single occupant by its proportions. Its hull bore micrometeorite scars and patchwork repairs. A hatch opened with a hiss that echoed across the empty plane. A human stepped out. He wore a pressure suit faded by radiation bleaching. His movements were slow, careful, as if gravity itself surprised him. Sensors extended from his helmet, sweeping the horizon until they settled on her. He froze. She unfolded her wings slightly, balancing her mass. Heat shimmered along her scales as metabolic systems adjusted. For several seconds, neither moved. Then his external speaker crackled. I wasn't told there was megafauna. The voice trembled, not with aggression, but awe. Seraph tilted her head. Language recognition modules, dormant for decades, activated painfully inside her brain. Fragmented linguistic frameworks assembled themselves from buried data. Human, she said, vocal cords forcing unfamiliar shapes into sound. The man staggered backward. That's impossible. Communication came haltingly after that. His name was Elias Chun, a deep-range surveyor searching for lost colonial routes erased during an ancient network collapse. KX-119 had appeared only as a gravitational anomaly worth investigating. He explained humanity had abandoned thousands of experimental colonies during an era of rapid expansion. Records were incomplete. Many worlds were presumed failures. Seraph listened, processing. Colony, she repeated slowly. Where are the others? Chin hesitated. His visor darkened slightly, hiding his eyes. There are no signals here, he said. No infrastructure. Whatever happened, it was a long time ago. They walked together toward the ruins, against the skeletal remains of laboratories and hatcheries. Chen's instruments came alive with readings. Genetic fabrication chambers, artificial womb arrays, atmospheric processors designed to stabilize a failing biosphere. This wasn't a settlement, he realized aloud. It was a bioforming experiment. Seraph watched him scan a collapsed data pillar until power flickered briefly through ancient circuits. A fragment of archived text translated across his visor. Chun went very still. What? She asked. He hesitated again, but her gaze held him. You weren't meant to build a civilization, he said quietly. You were phase 3. She waited. Engineered apex organisms. self-sustaining predators designed to regulate an artificial ecosystem after human crews left, adaptive intelligence, but limited reproduction. The colony would return once the biosphere stabilized. Silence stretched between them. "Return," she said. Chen's voice softened. "They never did." He accessed deeper logs. They'd scroll past, centuries old. Emergency transmissions, resource shortages, evacuation orders. Final note, project terminated. Planetary instability exceeds projection models. The atmosphere outside howled against broken towers. Sarah's inherited memories rearranged themselves. Instincts she had never questioned suddenly felt artificial. Waiting cycles, territorial patrols, behaviors without purpose. She was not a survivor of a lost civilization. She was its unfinished tool. Chen removed his helmet despite protocol, breathing filtered planetary air. Tears formed instantly in the cold wind. "You've been alone this entire time," he whispered. She studied him carefully. Fragile bones, inefficient thermoregulation, a creature unsuited for this world without machines. "Not alone," she said after a long pause. "Now human here." He smiled faintly, but his instruments continued recording atmospheric decay curves, orbital instability projections, and seismic data rising beneath the crust. The planet was dying, slowly, inevitably. Chen understood before she did. The designers had abandoned the project because the world itself could never be saved. Sarah looked toward the dim star setting behind fractured mountains. For the first time, her predictive cognition extended beyond survival cycles. "How long?" she asked. Chen did not answer immediately. Finally, he said, "Not long enough." She absorbed the statement without visible reaction. Her species had never been designed to fear death, only inefficiency. Yet something new emerged, awareness of meaning beyond function. She had waited centuries for creators who would never come. Now one human had arrived only to witness the end. Above them, Chen's ship calculated fuel reserves insufficient for 2 passengers of her mass. He realized it at the same moment she did. Sarah folded her wings and turned toward the horizon, watching the dying light. For the first time since her hatching, she understood her purpose clearly, not to survive, but to ensure that something, anything, remembered she had existed.